So I'm traveling to Asia, and here are my top 10 tech essentials that I can't go without for a long flight or a big trip. My flight is long as shit, 14 hours to be exact, so I'm going to need to be very entertained, and that is going to start with my Nintendo Switch 2. I just downloaded Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I think that will entertain me at least for 6 hours. Of course, there's normally TVs on planes, but sometimes there's not, or they don't have the stuff you want to watch. So I always bring my iPad, and I have this little case so I can set it up and work or watch my little movies and shows. And next are my Ray-Ban Metas, and I actually use them for a couple things, but the first being that I am a content creator, and sometimes I don't want to pull out my phone. So if I have them on, I can just take a photo and record a video. Second being is that if I'm in another country and what's in front of me is not in English, I can use Meta to look what's in front of me and tell it to translate it for me. Sometimes this is just nice because again, I don't need to pull out my phone. And the next is my Oura Ring. Of course, I wear this every day at home, but it's so nice for trips because you can track your steps, your heart rate, your sleep, and everything that's super helpful to be looking at while you're adjusting to a completely new place and time zone. Of course, my AirPod Pros for the long flight because the noise cancellation is so good and the battery lasts long. However, I have been seeing a lot of people say that in Asia, you're gonna be riding a tuk-tuk or a motorbike and you don't wanna worry about them falling out of your ear, so I also went and got some wired headphones. Because I'm a tech geek and a content creator, I need to make sure that all my devices are staying charged, so I have 2 battery packs. This one is a 10,000 milliamp battery and this one is a 60,000 milliamp battery. She's thick. So if I was in the middle of nowhere for 24 hours, I can make sure that all my devices are staying charged. On the topic of things staying charged, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have an international outlet converter so you can charge all of your stuff with whatever outlets they have. This is probably definitely a niche for content creators, but I always bring my DJI mics because sometimes it's super loud wherever you are, and if I wanted to make content on a plane, I can use this to make sure the audio sounds really good. Honestly, one of the most important items, AirTags, because I can put them in my backpack, lock that shit up, and if anything happens to them, I know exactly where they are. I get really hot and I also sleep really hot, so these 2 things saved my life when I was in Europe, and yes, I know it's crazy, but this little fan has a little kickstand so you can put it by your bed, and it charges by USB-C, and I'm not kidding, this thing packs a punch and it makes me sleep so much better. And then this little guy folds out and is a full-blown fan that actually is so strong. It has 3 speeds, and I was in London once on one of the hottest days, and this thing honestly saved my life. And lastly, because I'm a content creator, I always need to be prepared, so I always bring this tiny little tripod with me and this strong-ass ring light. I recognize it's kind of a lot, but these things make my international trips so much easier. Let me know if you want to see more travel essentials in the comments, and stay tuned for the Asia trip. Hope this helped. Bye.